Hey guys, what's up? Good morning. Welcome and hello, hello and welcome and welcome and hello. My name is Danny Deals. Of course, it's me. You have found yourself in the enviable position of watching Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more, whether on tape or live, guys. This show is action and jam packed with news, information, humor, topics of the day. Of course, we only talk about one topic here, and that is SOFI Technologies Incorporated. Ticker symbol is SOFI. Guys, it is about, it's a little after 6 a.m. out here in, I don't know if it's beautiful or dreary today because it's still dark. Um, Out in Los Angeles area, it is just about 20 minutes until the market opens up. SoFi, let's take a gander at the pre-market here. Um, See what we're doing. Of course, we were up 9 cents or about 1% yesterday. Today, in the pre-market, looks like things have pulled back just a shade, 6 cents or 0.84. So we're pretty much flat on the day there. Um, Guys, Noto has been out in force in the media, trying to, I believe, get the truth out there in the face of some serious FUD and turd logic that reared its ugly head after the earnings report. Of course, we've been, it's all in good fun. We don't hate on anybody, but the Chia Pet and Wedbush, it seems very, very, very difficult for them to defend their call, for them to defend their logic, for them to defend basically the things that they assert when they downgraded the SoFi stock from $8 buy to a $5 hold after earnings, and then just a couple of days later downgraded again to a $2.50 sell on the stock. One thing of note is that other bears on the stock, people that just generally hate the SoFi stock, they tend to have price targets in the $6 to $7 range. The analysts that are a little bit more moderate, I would say, they tend to and KBW. I'm not familiar with this analyst. He has a good rating. He has a hold on 550. So he reiterated that yesterday. But this is, I would say, a bearish analyst. Most of the analysts are sort of in that $6-7 range as bears. 650. Sort of the mid guys are at $8. Jeffries, Oppenheimer, they're still buy, but at $8, obviously, it's a bit flat. Of course, we know touchdown Danny Dolev from Mizuho is a $9 buy. A really good, it's a reiteration, but I will call it an upgrade from Ashwin Shirvakar. I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but again, he's a five-star analyst. His picks are in the green. You actually make money following this guy's picks. Again, in contrast to David Chiavarini at Webbush, who is one of the bottom-ranked analysts in the entire country. So Ashwin came out with a $10 price target and a buy rating, reiterated that. Oppenheimer reiterated their $8 buy. And then Michael Perito with KBW came out and reiterated his hold rating with a 550 price target. So you can see where it stands, guys. Most of the analysts are sort of right in the, SoFi is fairly valued at this point camp. My price target, as many of you know, is $9.75. I believe these analysts are just too conservative with their numbers, their growth numbers. When I listened to Noto and I read the transcript of Piper Sandler and I watched his interview on CNBC, he's talking about 25 to 35% CAGR for the next few years. So it's inconceivable to me that analysts they put in conservative numbers and then they kind of make them even more conservative. They put in a fudge factor. So, that's somewhat fair with a pre-revenue, not pre-revenue, excuse me, pre-profit growth stock. But I think SoFi's management has removed a lot of the question marks and proven that they can execute. Guys, sorry, I'm a little bit tired this morning, just working on my first cup of coffee here. But we are going to take a quick look at the Piper Sandler conference. This is an interview that Noto did on the sidelines of that conference. So let's just take a listen to this. I just read the Piper Sandler transcript, but I was snoring at the time. I actually am able to read in my sleep. It's a little known skill. I only absorb 99% of the information when I'm sleeping. But guys, I'm always on the grind. I'm always on the grind all the time, like it's my fucking job, people. I'm watching these markets for you. I'm watching the analysts. I'm watching the media, whether they're crooked, and I'm going to get inside that narrative. I'm going to dissect it. I'm going to figure out why they're saying what they're saying, because whatever they're saying, whatever they're doing, it's to manipulate retail investors who don't have enough information, who don't have time, who don't have the energy. Many of us are just lazy and we sort of follow the herd and we accept the narrative we're given, and we end up making too many moves too quickly for no reason, just sort of following the script of the shorts and the hedge funds and the people that are trying to take our money. And that's how this thing's rigged, guys. If you think all these guys on CNBC and all these analyst houses, most of these guys go back and forth between being analysts and doing research for different companies, and then they're working in venture capital or M&A or whatever it is, guys. These guys are all in the same club. Like a lot of these guys on who are giving you this like everyman blue collar advice and they roll up their sleeves. These guys are millionaires and billionaires, and they're investing like institutions. They're not out there like driving Uber and trying to save money and hustling. These guys are part of the smart money crowd, and that's when you watch like an analyst at Wedbush, absolutely crash the SoFi stock. I wouldn't say single-handedly, because obviously the companies that were, the hedge funds and market makers that were shorting the hell out of the stock had a lot to do with it. And again, I know that I'm not the FBI or the SEC, and I can't prove that those events were coordinated and designed to work together, guys. But you tell me, a guy that a year ago, a little over a year ago, had a $20 buy on the SoFi stock. The company continues to grow throughout that year, continues to have good margins, great execution. They have a couple of excellent catalysts coming up. And you take that company, go from like a 20 some dollar buy, and then you're at an $8 buy most of the year, and then you go down to 5 and then 250 as a short attack decimates the stock after a relatively good earnings report. These events organically, if you look at the situation, the evidence, the performance of the company, it just doesn't make any sense that SoFi is going to go from 650 or whatever it is to 450 after earnings, and then of course then jumps back up, and we're over 750 at this point, and just touched $8 a couple of times. So guys, this price action, it's designed to keep you shocked and confused and above all fearful. If fear is the most powerful emotion that can make you do stuff, greed and fear. So market makers play on that constantly. Notice the sky is always falling. Like the sky is always falling around SoFi. Um, just coincidentally, there's been a massive short on the stock basically ever since it made that last run to 25 or whatever it was. Of course, this is just what happens, guys. Market makers flip. They went short. They decided the stock's way too high. It doesn't make sense. We hate this company anyway. So we're going to destroy the stock. And they did. And they've been doing that for a couple of years. But at a certain point, guys, the fundamentals have to win out. It's like Hank Hill said, it's all about the fundamentals, Bobby. Do you want the Starbuck or the young Starbuck? Like a lot of what you need to know from investing, you could learn from King of the Hill. But anyway, guys, okay, big sell-off this morning. It'll open at 650. Quite possibly. Guys, I thought the stock was going to close above 8 yesterday. Obviously, I was wrong. I still think the stock I still expect the stock to close at 8 today. I think the reason I think market makers have flipped is like now at the very beginning when the stock went down to 4, we just saw buying. Everybody buying. Everybody knew that the stock was oversold at that point. The RSI was telling us that. Just our logic, our gut, our instinct was telling us that. Um, but what's happened now is, guys, the market makers have flipped. Why do I think this? Is because the algos is stepping up the price of the stock with heavy volume in 25-cent increments. There's little pumps, little dumps in there, but I mean, you guys might think I'm reaching on this chart, but I'm telling you, look at this thing, guys. The stock was trading Thursday and Friday from, you know, basically ran up in this little buying frenzy here on June 1st, and then the algo had it pegged at 7 for the next 2 days, guys. Under heavy volume. With a lot of volume on the stock, you normally do not see anything organic, just controlled and trading horizontally, sort of barcoding in a very tight pattern with this much buying pressure. So 7, and then on Friday, guys, the algo is holding the stock at 7. Okay, Monday morning, the stock bounces all the way up to 750. Algo immediately pulls it back down right to 725. Exactly. Keeps pushing back down, washes a few people out, accumulates, trades the stock the rest of the day at exactly 725. This is a little key moment right here. When they try to push the stock up to 750, of course, they push it up to exactly 750, and market makers want to trade this stock at 750 right here the rest of the day. But there's just too much buying pressure on Tuesday, and the stock ends up going up to 775, touches that little resistance point back down. I think the market makers wanted the stock to close at $7.50, guys. Remember, there's tons and tons of call options. So market makers are playing all sorts of games behind the scenes. Mrusso215, good morning. Anthony Agwan, let's go. I agree with you. Finally caught you live. Good morning. Good to see you. John Rodriguezigu. I can never pronounce your name this early in the morning. Good morning, all. I bought more SoFi yesterday. That's awesome. John, I appreciate that. SoFi family appreciates that. Guys, and then, okay, so yesterday, the stock, again, same thing, runs up, tries to touch $8. The algo keeps pulling back to 775, and then for the last couple hours of trading, it's just working extremely, extremely hard to keep the stock at 775. So if you take a look at the price action for the last week, it becomes very, very clear that we're on this controlled staircase pattern by market makers. And that leads me to believe if market makers are still in charge of the stock and the stock is going up rapidly and there's buying pressure and there's not that many. I know shorts are covering with options. I understand, guys, not all shorts are just buying shares and covering with shares from the open market. So all that stuff is deceptive because market makers have long shares they can cover with. They can both short and cover with options. There's so many things that are just not apparent in those raw numbers. But I still, as I said, I believe it is indicative of the overall trend with the short interest, which is why I go. So if this trend, guys, is going to continue, and the next step up on this ladder is going to be $8. This is going to be a critical moment, guys. Not only you see 8 is resistance here, just touched 8, didn't quite touch it here. So I think today is going to tell a big story in terms of where are we going. if we look at we're the market's going to open in about 5 minutes, guys. The stock's down 10 cents, so gave back the gains from yesterday. Sitting at $7.64. Um, and then the futures are very slightly up on Nasdaq and just down a tiny, tiny fraction on Dow, S&P, Russell, and so basically everything's looking flat today, guys. We don't know where we want to go. I think people are a little bit uneasy about the Fed because employment numbers have looked so strong. And then you know, I just think market makers they could be reshorting a little bit from these levels. You're starting to see even analyst price targets are sort of at the level we're at currently, and a lot of people think, okay, net profit at best Q4, so that's going to be like the next major catalyst. I think SoFi could announce a contract with Galileo with a major national bank. I think they could roll out new features. I think there's a lot of things they could do that would, that would provide, more upside, more buying pressure. But the big one is obviously going to be net profit. Everybody knows that. A lot of institutions, a lot of more conservative institutions, pension funds. This is the huge money, guys. This isn't just smart money. This isn't just hedge funds. This is the huge institutional money. The Fidelities, the CalPERS, the Texas pensions, the you know Canadian national pensions, like the sovereign wealth funds. These investors are not going to come in generally to a company that has not yet is not yet making a gap net profit. It's just that's kind of the bar. That's the gold standard when everybody looks at earnings per share. Everybody looks at those multiples. When they're negative, when you're pre-profit, a lot of the more conservative institutional investors just won't touch you. So that's why I think, guys, looking at the chart this week, there's still a hell of a lot of computer-based trading, algo trading. Of course, this is one of the more actively traded growth stocks on the market. But what it's telling me, guys, is that market makers are flipping and going long on the stock. I don't really see that but they're trying to do it in a very controlled way that allows them to make money from options, cover their short, and just market makers are going to make money, generally speaking, no matter what happens. And if they see the writing on the wall that the stock is going to go up, they're going to figure out a way to make money there. Obviously, they want to take that money from retail investors. That's sell the dip, smell the rip. That's what market makers are trying to get retail investors to do, and that's generally what they're able to get retail investors to do through a combination of FOMO and panic selling. Those are the two emotions they trigger. They get you to buy in the run-up pre-earnings at 640, and then they scare the living hell out of everybody and, get Joe Sixpack to dump at $4.75, and then he sees the stock run back up, and he bought yesterday at $7.98, and he'll probably sell next week at 690. He'll buy back at 950. It's like they just have him on the yo-yo. They put the shiny object in front of him. They put the talking heads in suits on TV and scare the hell out of him, and they find some analyst house with a credible name and get them to cut the price target at some absurd level and crash the stock. Oh my God, stock Karen is coming out, guys. I feel like Edward Norton. Mr. Vale, what happened? What happened? Like, stop, Karen. This is. I need to talk to Stock Karen. Uh, you can't talk to Stock Karen right now. I'm on my cell phone driving a minivan trying to drink a 4,000 calorie iced coffee. Okay. Hey, who do we have in here, guys? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Who do we got? Carlos Rodriguez, I'm a buyer anything under 7. Yeah, me too, Carlos. I think that's a good price. I mean, the problem for me buying, right now is I was just loading in the 4s and low 5s. I've had the opportunity to do that a couple of times, and I'm way overbalanced on SoFi. I have way too much of my. I mean, it's not too much. I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to. Nobody has a gun to my head. But guys, the market just opened. Oh my God, the market's open, guys. What are we doing? SoFi is going green. I don't think anybody is surprised here. They always buy. This is back to the old pattern where they buy for the first 15 minutes right out of the gate, suck in retail, and then you begin to sell off and crash the stock. And then it's just kind of that pattern we used to see all the time. And then there's sort of that reaccumulation sideways. I call it top of the football hump pattern. And they usually sell off hard like the last hour or 30 minutes and then buy back. There's a little uptick, like a little check mark at the end of the day. So, guys, I mean, bottom line, of course, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just looking at the charts. I'm looking at the history. I'm looking at market sentiment. I'm looking at, sort of the near term future for the stock, the next quarter or two. And I'm trying to give you my best guess, but let's face it, guys. I just have no clue. You guys down in the comments probably know more than me. You probably got more sleep than me. You probably had more and better coffee than I did. But guys, the SoFi stock coming out of the gate strong. It's moving like a tremendous machine. We are at $7.80, up 6 cents, up 5 cents. I can't follow the price action every single minute because I would just drive myself insane. Let me check my cell phone. I seem to have some urgent business from Princess J. I hope she is watching the live stream. In any case, guys, the stock is sort of following the SoFi script. Speaking of the SoFi script, let's take a break from obsessing over the price action and let's take a look-see at old Anthony Noto from the Piper Sandler conference. Did a little interview, as he's wont to do. If I know Anthony Noto, he probably has like a black fleece SoFi sort of windbreaker action, kind of pulled down. His hair will be just slightly messed up on purpose. He's kind of dressing it down. He's kind of taking it down. This is after hours Noto. This is the Noto you can trust. This is a Noto who's just had a small scotch, 2 fingers of scotch with just one rock, and he's ready to just tell it like it is. He's so calm, cool, and collected. It is so obvious he owns these troll bear turd shorts and is just not concerned about it. He's not concerned about the long-term health of his company, and he's not concerned what these turds think about it. Good morning, Stock Karen. Thoughts on the news? Eric, clarify. There's tons of news. What are you talking about, buddy? As far as the upgrade, downgrade, as far as the SoFi, SoFi, by the way, just put out a maybe he's talking about this deal with the student loan retirement authorization. That was, it looks like a new program from SoFi, basically. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. SoFi news this AM. Yeah, Eric, but what news? There's like 50 pieces of news. I'm looking at the Business Wire. SoFi at Work launches student loan verification service to help employees pay off student debt while also saving for retirement. Did the Supreme Court come out? I'm not sure what happened, Eric. I just woke up. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, this one it's interesting. I wouldn't call this like a bombshell, but this is actually pretty interesting. I guess what they're reacting to the Strong Secure Retirement Act, some act of Congress that was passed, and at SoFi, we're dedicated to helping people get their money right. The Secure 2.0 and the provision that makes it easier for companies to support all employees, said Barrett Scruggs. We have I believe, isn't he a former country music bluegrass icon? He certainly sounds like it. Ladies and gentlemen, with Steve Martin on the banjo, it's Barrett Scruggs. He's like, comes out like, a bolo tie and something. He's playing the fiddle. He's like 100 years old and, really big, and they wheel him out there. He's like playing the fiddle. Like, that's Barrett Scruggs. I saw him in 1939 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. day I got married. Like I don't know how people are still like, they're making money playing this country music. Some of these guys are got to be about 150 years old. Um, Anyway, guys, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I need far more coffee. SOFI at Work partners with leading financial groups and record keepers to administer student loan verification. The service provides a low-cost way to verify eligible student loan payments and deliver contributions for retirement matching. All employers need to do is determine employee eligibility based on student loan debt balances. From there, SOFI at Work handles the rest, including plan design, data security, and reporting. So basically, I guess this is a program and a new federal law that allows, employers to match part of their retirement contributions to help their employees pay off their student loans, basically. So this is really good for, employees. It's good. I think it's really good for SoFi. SoFi is generally, I think, of course, they want to make money. They're a for-profit company, but they are generally dedicated to helping their members get their money right. And Noto basically came out and said, like, we're not opposed to forgiveness for borrowers that are in trouble, making less income. They're not opposed to it. All SoFi wanted the whole time was some kind of certainty in the program that, if there's an amount, let's get on with it. Let's do the forgiveness and let's get back to people paying their obligations. It's not helping borrowers to keep kicking the can down the road. And it's even like the student loan deferments actually worked out worse for borrowers. If you think about it, like if we had brought student loans back, as sort of COVID eased more than a year ago, like it started to ease and people were getting back to work and the economy was roaring back, and you know, people would have been able to refi their student loans at a much lower interest rate. Now that rates are so high, like borrowers are behind the eight ball because they haven't made any payments in years and their balances are still there. They're 3 years older. They're 3 years closer to when they should be retiring. But of course, they can't retire because they're going to be making student loan payments long after they're dead because the government just keeps pushing these things out and out and out. It doesn't help you. Another thing I was noting that Anthony Noto was talking about is that even if SoFi can't lower your rate from the sixes or wherever you are with your federal student loan, what SoFi is able to do is extend your term from 10 to 20 years, and that will lower a $70,000. Somebody who has $70,000 in debt will lower their payment by $275. Saving you money now when you need it most. You're a little bit younger. You can't afford this huge payment with the high interest rate. Perhaps you have young kids. You're trying to pay those expenses. So when you're earning more into your like 40s and 50s, you can continue to make the lower student loan payments. You'll have more income, you will have your expenses under control, you'll just be at a different position in life. When you're young and just out of college in your 20s, early 30s, it's very difficult to make these huge student loan payments because you're not yet in your prime earning years. You have a lot of other expenses. Perhaps you have young children that are very expensive. Obviously, housing costs are through the roof. You know, yada yada yada. Everything costs more. I mean, again, I'll go back to the dozen eggs. If you buy a dozen eggs, it's like $9 for the decent ones, the free range eggs. I'm not gonna eat those ranch supermarket, eggs that resemble like a piece of plastic with a turd inside. Guys, there are not that many people watching this live stream. I think I am going to turn over the floor to somebody far more interesting than myself, far more dynamic, perhaps better hair, perhaps, and he certainly knows his EBITDA.
Years, the stock surging as the newly signed debt ceiling deal included a restart to student loan payments. Our Bob Pisani live at the Piper Sandler Global Exchange Conference for an exclusive interview right now with SoFi CEO Anthony Noto. Bob, take it away.
All right. Hi, Scott. Good to see you. Anthony, thanks very much for joining me. I just want to follow up on what Scott said right there. Congress has ended the student loan pause. Students are going to have to start repaying their loans. What does this mean for you?
Well, first of all, it was really important that we gave people the relief over the last 3 years not to have to pay their federal student loans. They could deal with COVID and the pandemic, but that's been over for about a year. So we really thank the representatives in Washington for making that bipartisan decision. I think now what it means is consumers that have federal student loans should look to refinance. We can really help them out. If they have interest rates that are in the high 6s, high 7%, we can save them money. If they have a term of 10 years, we can help them lower that payment. So as an example, someone has $70,000 of student loans, which is our typical student loan refinancing, and they have a 10-year term at a 6% rate, their monthly payment's going to be about $775. Now, they haven't been paying that $775 for the last 3 years, so it's going to be an incremental burden for them likely in this environment. If they want to extend that to 20 years, they could lower that payment at 6% to $500 a month. Now, 20 years will cause them to pay a lot more than 10 years, but they can still pay at the same rate that they want and have that flexibility. Yeah. So people can save by refinancing at a lower rate if they have high rates.
Guys, I just want to make it really clear when he allows you to go, he's talking about letting people go from a 10-year to a 20-year on their student loans. That doesn't mean that you have to take 20 years to pay. You can prepay, you can pay as fast as you want. There are no penalties, there are no fees, there are no closing costs with SoFi student loans, and they fund loans in an average of 7 days, guys. SoFi is the very best in the business with student loans. Steve Regan, Noto did a great job. Yes, for some reason I thought he looked younger. Yeah, he's definitely had a little work done, guys. Little nip tuck. He's probably he's on TV so much. Let's face it, guys. Some of these, these major executives, like some of these guys are really into their appearance, and some of them just don't give a crap. Like if you're like a Bill Gates, you're off in the nerdatorium. You really don't care. Elon Musk looks like, sort of like Jabba the Hutt had a baby with a gremlin or something. The guy looks very, very unhealthy. But Noto, on the other hand, looks tan, young, fit, vibrant. I mean, I don't have a man crush on the guy, but I have a business crush on him. And yeah, he looks good, but I don't really care about that. The point is, for me, is he's doing a one hell of a great job, and his command of the numbers, his command of the ratios, his exact knowledge of the details is very, very encouraging for a CEO. Hey, Fonz, yay! What's up, buddy? Yeah, nip tuck, no doubt. Look terrible after May 1 earnings, a $7 price. Yeah, exactly. By the time the stock is at $35 and his like hundreds of millions in options payout, if it reaches that level for a certain time, he's gonna look incredible. He's gonna be absolutely glowing. But anyway, guys, let me get back to the show here. I am going to let this run. If anybody wants to watch, I am going to go make a cup of coffee so that I can think clearly. And then if you guys want to bail, I totally understand. I know you have other things to do. Let's take a look at the SoFi stock moving up sharply now, guys. Challenging $8 again. Oh boy. Why do I blabber on and start watching old videos when I could be watching this ticker? It's far more exciting. Guys, do we want to watch the ticker? Do we want to watch Noto? What are we doing here? I'm here, not going anywhere. What's up, Fonz? I'm going to go make a cup of coffee, guys. I have to return a quick phone call. Stock is moving up like a tremendous machine. Let me leave you with Dr. Noto here for a moment. He's actually not a doctor, but he certainly is curing what ails our financial blues, which was that, stock price down at $4.50. But guys, Noto's rock steady. Let's let the man speak on it, and I will be right back when I'm able to refresh my espresso robot here.
They could save on a monthly basis to look for a chance to refinance at lower rates by spreading out over the term. And we think people will do both. We're already seeing people do the second of extending the term.
You were founded years ago to provide more affordable options for student loan payments, essentially. But you've expanded now. You're in personal loans, student loans, home loans. What is the state of the consumer right now? You have a view into a lot of loan business. Tell us what the consumer's doing right now.
Sure. For the viewers that don't know, we're in the loans that you mentioned, plus we do checking and savings account. We are a bank. We also have a brokerage account. We have insurance, and we have credit card. And in the most recent quarter ended in March, we grew about 43% year over year. So there's a lot of demand in revenue. There's a lot of demand for our products. And we're continuing to see really strong deposit growth. We're continuing to see members pay their loans on time, and we're continuing to see them spend at a high rate.
You're not seeing an increase in loan losses, for example.
We are still below the rates that we saw in 2019. There is a move towards normalization, but they're still below the levels that were back in 2019. And I'd say our consumer, important for the viewer to understand, is more of a high-end consumer, $100,000 of household income or more, and FICO scores above 680, but so far stable activity across paying loans, deposits, and spending.
You mentioned that you could save money to help people refinance their loans out there, particularly students' loans. The curve seems to imply that rates might be coming down. What does that mean? What happens when rates go down? How is that going to help you, and how is that going to help consumers?
Yeah, for consumers that are looking to buy homes, as rates come down, they'll be able to do that at more affordable prices. For consumers that have homes and need to refinance their mortgage, they'll be able to refinance at lower rates. And then those that have student loans, they can refinance with SOFI as many times as they want, without penalty and without cost. There's no frictional cost, no closing costs. So they could refinance now and spread the payment out over a longer time period to lower the monthly payment. But they also could then refinance when rates go lower, as they're anticipated to do as we go into 2024 and 2025. The other thing that's important to note is as rates go lower, there will be less to make in checking and savings accounts, but we'll likely be able to continue to provide a really attractive rate for them.
My colleague Scott Wapner has a question. Scotty.
Anthony, it's so good to have you on Closing Bell. Welcome back. I just had a conversation about sort of where we are with all of this AI mania and the hype around it and the hope that has sent a lot of these stocks higher. And I'm gonna send you back to your younger days, to 1999. You're the internet analyst at Goldman Sachs, and you had a front row seat to how all of that led up in some respects, and then how it dramatically ended. So do you view anything from this period right now with similarity to back then? I'd love it through the prism of your eyes.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of hype around AI. There are companies that are changing their names to AI, and companies changing their URL addresses or finding some way to put it in the description of their company. And consumers need to watch out for that. They need to protect themselves. The question they should ask a CEO or a management team that's prognosticating about AI is, how much revenue do you think you'll generate incrementally from AI? What's the specific amount of cost that you're going to generate from AI? And really get to tangible results that will impact the performance of that company. I think from a consumer perspective, they're going to benefit a tremendous.
I think, guys, what Noto just said there is very important. Like, so much of the rhetoric around AI is just complete bullshit. Like, he's talking about what is this actually going to do to your numbers? Don't just talk about AI and chatbots and all this stuff. Like, tell me what it's actually going to do to your bottom line. And that's why Noto is such a different CEO, guys. I don't know. I hope you've had a chance to read the guy's bio, but the guy graduated from United States Military Academy at the top of his class in mechanical engineering. Benjamin, are we moving up? Let's go. Okay, yeah, guys, just broke through the $8 mark, sitting at $8.03. Oh, this is exciting. We are up over 3% on the day. Volume, interestingly, it's only been 20 minutes, so 8 million shares. I think that is a pretty strong volume. Let me just take a look at the 5-day just to see how this opening volume compares with the... of course, my computer is... there it goes. And, of course, right when it loads, I'm reloading. Boy, story of my life, guys. Bad timing. But... any case, let me load the chart here once again and just take a look at the volume differential, where we opened today versus where we have been the last couple of days. So, yeah, it's looking pretty similar, guys. Looking pretty similar in terms of the volume I'm seeing, but the move... this move is very strong. Those are some big candles. Denmark gang is holding strong. Next is 10. What's up? Big up to Denmark. Cool. Yeah, my brother actually, my older brother studied in Denmark, University of Copenhagen. In any case, fun fact, doesn't really help us here. They would get him a shot of liquor before they go out. It was like -30. They were trying to get to the bus stop and giving these, high school students a shot of aquavit or whatever it is. But big up Benjamin. Benjamin Wingrain, thank you for tuning in to this live stream. Next stop, yeah, 10, but really not much, I think, resistance until that 14-15 range. So I expect, the stock, as I said, my guess was we'd close the week at $8.18. It was merely speculation, but I thought we'd close yesterday at $8.04. So I am very often wrong, probably a lot more than I'm right. Again, there are numerous contrarian Danny Deals hedge funds out there. Probably a couple hundred billion in assets under management under those contrarian Danny Deals, and those guys are banking guys. So if you want to follow the smart money, you might want to go contrarian Danny Deals, not on the SoFi stock, guys. The SoFi stock is sacrosanct, but let's just if you just follow basically what I drew here in blue before any of this nonsense popped off, um, I expect the algo to try to grab this, pull it back down to 8, and then try to trade it sideways. It doesn't look like it's going to be able to hold it. It looks like it's going to be another situation here where it tries to trade the stock sideways and the stock just keeps going up. 808 just gapped up. I'm on this stupid Yahoo quote, which is probably behind the okay, over on Ortex, 808, 807. The order book looks like there is a big ask wall at $8.10. Not as in shares, 92 orders sitting out there, guys. In terms of bid, you got a lot. Man, geez, this thing is moving and grooving. Guys, let's take a look at the live short interest just for shits and giggles. Um, Live short interest is now okay, so they are returning shares, 1.37 million, almost nothing borrowed, so 1.3 million returned. The short is, the shares on loan have gone from, it was just 240 million, then just 2 days ago it was 231 million, and right now it's 205 million. So guys, you got to watch that shares on loan number. The estimated short interest of the free float is not nearly as interesting because it doesn't move the price action like those shares on loan. The shares on loan are actually, shares changing hands. Estimated short interest of free float or text estimate includes all kinds of things that aren't necessarily moving the price, like these shares on loan being returned very, very quickly. So you notice, guys, also the days to cover was all the way up here at 7, and now it's down here at 5. So whole hell of a lot going on today, guys. As I noted, the algo's trying to pull the stock back down to $8, and it just did that. Now the question is, can it trade the stock sideways, pull it down, or will the buying pressure overwhelm it like it did 2 days ago when it was trying to trade it at 750 and end up pushing the stock back upward and sideways, which is actually SoFi's very natural state. It is lighter than air, so it tends to go up. It tends to want to push up and to the right. Notice his head goes up and to the right, up and to the right. So anyway, guys, very, very exciting day for the SoFi investor. Hell, it's been a very exciting last couple of weeks, guys. We have, obviously, if you've been in the stock like I have since IPOE, had a lot of units. I've probably 10x'd my position since those days. I haven't just bought the dip. I haven't just loaded the boat. It's like when this stock gets down to 450, guys, something just takes over me. Like the spirit gets into me, and I just buy shares, guys, because I just know in my instinct, my math, my DD, everything tells me, guys, this is not a $4.50 stock. You can't trade this stock less than twice next year's earnings, given the outstanding gross margins. Um, Listen, Noto's they're talking to 12 major financial institutions, long-term talks about signing contracts with Galileo to basically run their entire backbone, guys. I don't think anybody's even talking about how much they're growing. The fact that they're, as a bank, they are gap net profitable. There's, of course, other businesses where they're still losing money, which is why they haven't made a gap net profit. But Noto in the interview at Piper Sandler is talking about a CAGR of 25 to 35 for the foreseeable future, like next, I think, 5 years is what he said. Guys, the algo is just working extremely hard. I have no idea. Um, I mean, this is exactly kind of what happened yesterday. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. Was that the algo would trade the thing up for 15 minutes? It actually was exactly 20 minutes. And then it would just wipe it out, and that's exactly what's happened. But the problem is there's too much buying pressure. Um, when those ticks get down to 1,000 shares traded per tick, or sometimes it's like 100 or 200, they're able to suck all the volume out of the stock. That means bears are in charge of the stock. But right now it's trading thousands and thousands of shares per tick. The bears are not going to be able to control the stock. Their buddies, their little minions are not going to reshort the stock because the company's about to make a profit and student loans are about to come back in a big, big way. Big, big. Remember that Tom Hanks movie? Big. That big. Think Godzilla on steroids times 10, wrecking havoc on the banking industry. Anthony Noto is Godzilla coming through, destroying. He sees the city, but knocks it over. He sees Bank of America. I don't know, guys. These fantasies I have are, probably not that healthy. But in any case, who do we got in the comments? Oprah has opened the cave. Yeah, Oprah's big wet cave is always welcome and is always appreciated. Just ask Stedman. He loves that shit. It just gapped up 808. Down it goes. Yep, manipulation is real. Absolutely. I said it was going to trade up and spike for 15 minutes. It was 20 minutes, but they do this all the time, guys. Don't worry about it. It means nothing. SoFi needs to grow at the speed that Danny Lopez. Yeah, Hurricane, Danny Lopez, Stock, Karen. Yeah, guys, I really thank you guys for tuning in to the old live stream here. I know there is a lot going on today. I actually have to get to work here, guys, at 7 a.m. I have some very important things to do. I actually invest money for other people, mainly into real estate development deals. So I have to get on a conference call with my Chicago people. I have a very important deal I'm working on with Abe Froman in the sausage space. Guys, I love to be in the sausage space, and don't take that any certain way. Abe Froman is the sausage king of Chicago. I've been working with him for many years, interested in purchasing a vintage Ferrari from him. And, if I make, say, $12 million from my SoFi investment here, I may be able to get that Ferrari after all. And finally, Danny Deals gets his just desserts. Always putting me down, the man, always trying to keep me down, step on me, push me around. Guys, we've got 2 minutes left. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. Please hit me up over on Stock Twits. Let's discuss. I'm just an average Joe. I don't know anything special. I just try to think and do a lot of research and dig and uncover the truth behind the manipulators, the market makers, the shorts, the turds, the scumbags, the country club golf hustlers, the Lester Diamonds. Please explain stock, Karen. I don't know. You can't explain to Karen, guys. They just have this overall emotional need to complain and feel sorry for themselves and feel that they're important. Likely float under until next week. Yeah, it's very possible, Roy. I mean, eight's obviously a huge, huge, huge resistance point. You need heavy volume, a heavy, heavy volume to break that down, and you really need some institutions. You need some market makers coming into the stock. So, guys, I'm not one of these people that thinks the stock's just going to shoot up past 10 or past 15. My price target for the end of the year is $9.75. Now, I believe when they announce GAAP net profit, whether that be early in 2024 for Q4 2023, or perhaps late in 2023 for Q3 2023, I believe at that point the stock will in fact bust down $10 quite easily. But I'm not one to argue with Roy. If you know anything about Roy, he won third place in the spelling bee in all of Derby County in 1983, and that makes him considerably smarter than old Danny Deals. No, I'm not making fun of Roy just because he has a three-letter name. I'm just insecure, guys, and Roy probably is. That's funny, Roy. I like Roy. And you guys, I like all of you guys. In fact, you're all my friends online. I don't know any of you. You could be complete psychopaths, but online, you're my friends. And let's leave it at that, guys. I rode the broadcast. Yeah, Roy. I've actually seen. I think Roy posts online on StockTwits, if I'm not mistaken. This guy actually knows what he's talking about. You might want to find out where Roy's channel is at. Delete my channel and just follow Roy, because honestly, guys, my thing is very, very simple. I don't jump in and out of stocks. I don't really try to ride momentum. I just try to find really, really good companies with great management, great business models that are dramatically undervalued, in my opinion. And when market makers create those really, really undervalued situations, I jump on them and I just buy the very bottom, and I try to hold forever. I try to find, companies with really good management that have a good long-term vision and can see it. And so my thing is just, buy, hold, accumulate low, accumulate more, hold forever, grow old and die with billions of dollars in stocks, and be very, very happy. I don't play off SoFi. Up we go, rinse and repeat. Thanks, guys. We're breaking down $8 again. I really expect us to close above $8 today. My prediction is we will close the week out at $8.18. And I am a man who stands by the courage of my convictions. Guys, I am 1 minute late. I hope you guys have an amazingly great day. I want to thank you for tuning in. Say, this has been Un Poco Mas. It's probably been too much Un Poco. I know these live streams tend to go on forever. Later on in the day, I'm just going to make a regular video. If you guys like the live streams, if you like more videos, let me know in the comments if there's any information specifically you would like me to bring you. I'm a member of many of these paid websites, so you guys don't have to be. Let me get the information for you. Tell me what you need to know. Guys, I'm trying to grow this little turd of a channel so that finally Danny Deals can get off his desk job and just rant and rave for a living, because as my girlfriend could tell you, I rant and rave and blabber enough at home, and she has to listen to it. So, guys, I may as well do it for all of you good folks on the interwebs. And thank you. I want to thank everyone who made this possible. I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank my manager, Stock Karen, who takes such good care of me. She takes 90% of my earnings, but I think well deserved. Guys, QBTS stock. Let's somebody who has some brain power and some free time, guys, take a look at QBTS for Rodriguez and tell us what you think, guys. I'll take a look at it if I have time. Guys, the SoFi stock making a very strong move today, sitting at $8.05. Let's get a current quote for you if we can, just before we end the stream. Guys, we are at, let me refresh. We are at $8.01, up 3.5%. Guys, volume is very, very strong today, sitting at $8.02, approaching 15 million shares traded in the first half hour. Guys, I hope you all have a great day. Let's go, SoFi. Again, I'm never one to give financial advice. I can't give financial advice. I'm not licensed. I'm not qualified. Buy SoFi. Buy you some shares. Buy into the rally. Don't let market makers control things. Don't let these goddamn algos win. Buy you some shares. Buy SoFi. Buy SoFi early and often. Buy SoFi. I'm not telling you what to do. This is not financial advice, but I am telling you to buy SoFi. Did you hear me? Buy SoFi. Guys, it's un poco mas.